Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Raynstorm Gaming. My name is Raynstorm, and today we're taking a look at Erlang Shen, or whatever, however you say it. We're taking a look at this guy and going through my ability overview and build guide for this character. Now, he hasn't come out, but I've been experimenting with him and talking with a couple of my clanmates, going over a couple of builds, seeing what the damage is that this guy does, and it is insane. Guys, seriously, this dude could be an ADC with an Afro support in Conquest. If you guys want to see that, let me know. This was something we were thinking of, like, how funny would it be to do this? But literally, this guy is nuts. He can literally have almost an instant dogs, I'm trying to make a video. He can have almost a spammable number one. His spammable one can almost be never off. He could basically have it on at the entire time he's fighting you, which can be absolutely devastating because it gets lowered every single time he hits a basic attack. And if he uses number 3 to initiate with you, it's basically going to allow him to get 35% additional attack speed, and that's going to make him hit so fast, so hard, and then be able to reproc his number 1 that he's going to be able to stay with you with that Fatalis effect that it provides almost endlessly. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I'll show you how his abilities work, what they do. So if you're not familiar with the new guide, you'll be able to I'll be able to walk you through that, and you'll be familiar with it after this episode, and I'll also give you a guide for a build. This is kind of what I'm thinking about using with a couple of tweaks, and you can make some decisions on your own. I'll tell you what some items might do and where you might think of going with the direction of this build, but currently attack speed, it just feels too good. Now, let's talk about his passive, Howling Celestial Dog. He brings a pet into the battlefield, and yes, he's got a dog. There he is, and the dog actually hits as well. So what you'll notice is that the dog is going to apply a basic attack for 15% of his basic attack power, and then it's going to trigger items for basic attacks at 15% of the normal damage and can critical hit. What that means is that this dog is going to be able to crit. This dog is going to be able to apply chin size. That's right. So when I have chin size in here, you see how I have this? Yes, that number 148.36, that's me. But you see that number 22? You see that? You see all these numbers right here? That little 3? That 22 is mine, right? That 22 is mine. The 3, I believe, is from the dog. Now, let me look at this. I'm hitting 155, and I'm hitting 36. The dog is hitting 22, and he's hitting 3. So he's hitting a little bit of a chin size passive as well. It's somehow bugged. Sometimes he's attacking, sometimes he's not attacking. But you can see the dog is going in there and applying that. So it's very cute. He has his own little mini chin size, which is very strong, honestly, for a dog to be able to do that. And I can imagine that I would believe that it would also be applying, like if, for instance, we had Frostbound Hammer, it would be applying that as well, from my understanding. Now, I'm going to go and hit this guy once. Let's see what happens. The dog hit him. Okay, we only do get 1 stack of Stonecutters for that, however. So we're not getting like triple stacks of that. However, we do get 2 stacks of Ichevol. So check this out. Look. I get 2 stacks right there. 2 stacks of Ichevol. So you can stack up Ichevol very quickly with this dog. Basically, it'll only take 2 basic attacks, and you're there. Let's just double check. Yeah, there it is. All right, so 2 stacks of Ichevol. So clearly the dog stacks that as well. And it might even be able to stack some of the other items like Rage. Will it be able to stack Rage? That would be very interesting. Let's just try that right now because crit chance is big. Rage obviously allowing you to build your crit chance based on your basic attacks. And if you hit a basic attack and you don't crit, it increases your crit chance. You get another stack. And that actually goes all the way up to 6 for, I believe, an extra 60% crit chance on top of the 20% it provides. So let's see if I get 2 stacks of that. 2 stacks of Rage. So 1, 2. And obviously they're reset by the time that I crit. But if you have Rage on this guy, he's going to be able to crit very, very mucho. Let's say that because of the fact that this dog is going to be able to apply these stacks and Ichevol. So stacking items going to be pretty cool on this guy. Maybe even the new Heartseeker. I don't know. Actually, I probably don't suggest that. We'll go back to Stonecutting Sword. Stonecutting Sword, however, doesn't seem to be procced with this, and that's a little bit of an interesting thing. I was looking at that. Some nice crit and Rage potentially in your build. Stonecutting Sword seems to be the only one from my understanding, looking at it right now, that is not being procced. So now after the passive, we've got the dog. He adds a little bit of extra damage. You can see that right here. Let's talk about Spot Weakness. Now, Spot Weakness is just number 1. This is the ability you could spam. What it does is he opens up his third eye. He analyzes the enemy's strengths and weaknesses, and when activated, he gains additional physical damage on each strike. He ignores basic attack movement penalties for the duration, and he gets cooldown for every basic attack he hits, which I believe is 1 second. So what that means is he is going to ignore movement speed. So you see how you have this basic debuff, right? If you're range basic attacking, that's 50%. But if you're melee basic attacking, I believe it's 35%. Now, when I activate my number 1, that goes away. And I'm attacking and I'm moving just as fast as if I was walking. That's a very, very potent ability. It's basically like having Fatalis on your kit. Now, the thing is, I wasn't hitting basics, so now it's just coming back onto cooldown. But let's look at it. What happens when I hit some basic attacks? We're going to pop it. Boom. Whoa. 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 And it's just finishing, and now it's off cooldown again. So let's see if I can actually keep this up. We're hitting this. Now let's pop it. Boom, 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 boom. It's just gone down, but now it's back up again. Literally, I have had it up twice already. It just went down, it's back up again. So look at the spammable ability of this ability. I mean, it's literally something that I can almost have all the time. Now, if you synergize it with this number 3, you're going to gain some extra attack speed, and what that means is you're going to be able to have that up even faster. I think you might even be able to start it up before it goes on cooldown, like before the effect stops. So the effect stops. I think it lasts for 5 seconds, and it's gonna be, I believe, taking you a little bit less than 5 seconds to get it back off of cooldown. So let's see what it looks like here when we use the number 3. Let's turn into a mink. We got some transformations going in here. Pop our number 1. Boom, 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 boom. It's still going. Okay, so it's basically just there. It's not quite there. If you add a little bit more attack speed in this build, I believe you will be able to basically have it as a guaranteed spam. So that's something pretty crazy about his kit, and it's going to mean that when he sticks to a backline target, he's going to stick. When he gets there, he ain't getting gone. He's not going away unless you have something to root him to stop his essential onslaught, because he is going to be moving so quickly and staying with you without any penalty for this attack, and he's going to be increasing his attack speed if he hits you with this Marmot. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And it may not be Marmot, it may be a mink. I think it's a mink. I don't know why I'm calling it a Marmot, but he's just going to be swinging like a crazy man. And I don't want a crazy man with this dang halberd looking all royal and majestic, knowing how to use it, okay? I need a crazy man with like a plastic bag yelling in Santa Monica that he's the king of the world. I'll take that crazy man any day. This crazy man looks armed and dangerous. I am not trying that. So that's the number 1. Number 2 is an ability that is basically called Pin. Now what this does is, as you might imagine, pins them to where they are, roots and cripples targets that are caught in the center of it. This is going to be your main wave clear typically. I don't know if you're going to be up leveling this first. I haven't really looked at how I'm going to be playing this guy in terms of ability leveling, but I can imagine that this could be a very strong clear. It's 265 damage, and it is very high scaling. How can you tell that? Well, I believe it's 85% scaling from the tooltip, but when you look here and you don't have the tooltips, you're going to be able to see how much of your power is given to these abilities. The ability with the most power given, save your ultimate because it's going to be a very huge number, you're going to basically see has the best scaling. So right now, this obviously very low scaling because it hits a lot and you get the damage over hitting several times. However, this has very high scaling, especially in comparison to this as well, which has decently high scaling in comparison to that. And so this is still going to basically do a lot of damage. And you can typically tell whatever has that highest scaling is going to be a very strong clear. So it's going to do that damage. It's going to root the Raw right there. And now the Raw is going to try and attack me. But Raw, it's over, baby. You know why? Because it's just don't try it. Let's not go there. Okay. So I literally was trying to say a word, but I forgot. I didn't even know what word I was trying to say. It just came out as duh. So I just went with it. Anyways, the number 1, like I didn't mention to you guys, I wanted to, but pretty much it adds a modifier, a damage modifier. So it will add basically 85 damage plus 19.5, whatever, how much physical power. Like if I get a little bit less, if I get a little bit more physical power here, that modifier will go up. So instead of 19.5, it'll be now, it'll need about 25.5, right? So that's just dependent on your physical power. We'll take that off. We'll buy back our Bulwark of Hope, which will give us a little bit more magic protection, a shield, and some help and some health. And then we will go back into this. So the number 1, like I said, it will add these damage numbers. So you see I'm hitting with 148, but I'm also hitting for 109 and 109 and 109 and 109 on top of that. So it's really adding 100 and something to my basic attacks, which for a squishy character with only maybe 1600, maybe 1900 health, that's a big deal. An extra 400 health off of 4 basic attacks is a big, that's like, you know, a fourth of their health. And that's going to be a big deal. And so adding this and of course being able to spam this is going to make him very strong against backline targets. We've talked about 2. Now 3, his transformations. You've seen the mink. What the mink does is it basically is very long. It goes a very long distance. Look at this. Let's see. How far can we go? I think we're going to go even past this. We might go to the middle circle. Wow, even past the middle circle, so it goes very far. And when you do it, you go through minions. So if you actually use it, you will go through the minion wave, but you will stop at the first enemy player that you hit. Very much like Sun Wukong, you will hit that player and stop. You will end your transformation there, and for the next few moments right here, you will gain some attack speed. You'll gain some attack speed. That is what that little thing that was right here is about. And gaining that attack speed, again, will allow you to combo with his number 1 very effectively when you land, using that attack speed to your benefit. Increase attack speed by 35% at max rank. Now, there's another transformation, and people are pretty excited about this one, so I'll show you. It's not any animal that I think you've seen in the Smite Battleground before, but get excited because it's a freaking turtle. It's a turtle, and yes, he's got some weird animations, but it's a freaking turtle that knocks up. And as you can see now, after this fight, what do I have around me? I've got a shield of 300. Actually, let's look at this here. 215 health. So the shield looking like it's not actually affected by any numbers. You just get that 215 health shield here added on standard when you use this. And this is a great tool, again, like Sun Wukong's Bull. It's to knock people up. It's to get to the back line without anybody being able to really contest you. It doesn't make you CC immune, but it does knock enemies up and allow them to basically not cast their abilities, and that is usually enough to buy yourself some time before you get going. Now, to cancel out of that, you hit your right click, and you are out of that, and now you activate your 1, you find the raw, you trap him there, he can't move anywhere, and he's a done. Again, that same word that we were using that we don't know what it means. That could be the new thing. Done. Okay, pretty much when you play this guy and you go on a raw, you dunski. I don't know why I keep saying that, but there's a fantastic Super Smash Bros. Commentator that just said you dunski. It was husband and wife. You guys know husband and wife? You watch Super Smash Bros. You know what I'm talking about. It's very funny. You dunski. Okay, he's dunski. Let's talk about the ultimate. Now, the ultimate is one of my more favorite aspects of this character. He's very unique, and I really like it. Now, the aspect about this ultimate is that it's a taunt, and it's a very risk versus reward. I love elements in kits that provide this kind of, I would say, decision making that pays off if you make the right call. I like having somebody have to go for something and not being sure if it's going to pay off, but if it does pay off, having it be a very fun and rewarding experience. So what he's going to do is he's going to taunt enemies. Now, when he taunts these enemies, right, they're going to come towards him, and just like anybody else, they're going to just basically start trying to attack him, and you're basically going to be able to shoot your basic attacks at him. You're going to be all about Erlang Shen for that moment if you get taunted. Now, after that, however, he is going to gain, actually during that, he's going to gain a 15% damage mitigation, which will allow him to actually mitigate 15% of the damage incoming, so it'll be a little tankier and able to survive that gambit a little bit more, helping it to pay off. And then he will heal for a flat amount, which is 510 plus 463 at this point, which means you're going to be healing for about 900 flat, which is about, I guess, almost 50% of his health at this point, a little bit less, plus 20% of his maximum health, which is just nutso. So we're talking about 400 health on top of 900 health already. He's going to be healing for about 1300 health, which is more than 50% of his health. And so we'll let this raw hit us as this continues to go. I want you guys to see exactly how this works because it's pretty dang awesome, and it's going to give him some serious comeback ability. You like that word? Comeback ability. It's going to give him some comeback ability in these fights and in these engagements, because if he gets this taunt off, he gets the damage mitigation, he stays alive, he's going to heal up, and he's going to be a real nuisance for some targets who are trying to get rid of him. Now we're going to use this. We're going to taunt. There you go. And now look at my health. Boom, back up. I just got all that health, baby. It's nasty. We're going in on that raw again, and he's done ski. So that's pretty much Erlang Shen in a nutshell. That's not Erlang Shen in a nutshell. This is Erlang Shen in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. I'm in it. Okay, Austin Powers. I'm sorry. I'm happy, guys. This is a fun character, and I love these new guides, and I'm glad you guys are here talking about this new guide with me. Now, I want to go into the build that I've been looking at right now. So the build that I'm looking at for me is starting off with a little bit of something like Warrior Tab by moving into some attack speed oriented item that's going to allow his basic attacks in that number 1 to be augmented quite well. I'm thinking like an Ickable early game, which might be interesting. Of course, if you're in like a conquest game, you're probably going to look at starting with something like Death's Toll, because it's going to help with an enemy with a basic attack, restore 6 health in 1 mana. You're going to be able to have a little bit more sustain. lane, and you're going to be very good at your basic attacks, and that's going to be how you're going to trade maybe in the solo lane or in the, obviously if you're in the solo lane, but in jungle, you may start a little bit of a different way. These are the ways I'm looking at just more of the casual games that I'm playing. Now, of course, cooldowns are something that's very, very important to many characters, and especially Erlang Shen with that ultimate being so tide turning, giving him that health back. Having at least one cooldown item in Breastplate of Valor is going to be very important for me. I like Breastplate of Valor on my warriors because, again, it's physical protection, it's mana, because warriors are very ability hungry. Pretty much their damage comes from surviving. It comes from them being able to stay alive in fights and spam their abilities. This guy's going to be a basic attack warrior, so he's very different. Really only like Osiris, which is a true basic attack warrior. This guy's a little bit in a class of his own, and so Breastplate still not necessarily geared towards the basic attack warriors as much as some other items, but this is still a great item for most warriors almost in all circumstances. So you can feel good because it's got the cooldown as well that this is going to help him out, and it definitely does in this build. Takes his ultimate down to about 68 seconds. Now, looking at after that, chin size is going to be his big power spike. Remember, not only is he going to get the chin size, but the dog is going to get the chin size effect as well, and this is going to allow him to get some more attack speed, and this is really going to put him in a good position. This is going to mean when he hits that make, when he goes into that 3 and he gets that attack speed buff, he hits his number 1, and now he's got a no movement penalty, and he's hitting you with that chin size. He's taking off 4% of your max health with each basic attack as well as the dog, and he re-spams it again because he's basically got the cooldowns on it because he hasn't missed a single shot, and you're just like, get this guy away from me, and then you run away and he uses his mink again to get near you, and he spams it again, and then he uses his ultimate to taunt you back to him. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Chin size, a huge power spike for this guy. Look to get it about 4th as soon as possible, really, but of course finishing off with a little bit of defense and a little bit of a cheap effective item like Ichval early on is going to help you. Now, Bulwark of Hope, this is my magical defensive choice at the moment. There are a lot of other options. We've been discussing an officer in my clan. Prometheus is like, I want to go Genji's Guard because the cooldowns helps. You get 10% cooldown reduction, so you get some increased cooldown, so that will drop this from 68 seconds to about, as you'll see, his ultimate goes to about 59 seconds, and that's really, I mean, that's great. You also get the passive, which means you are going to basically have your cooldowns reduced by 2 seconds, all of them, when you're hit with magical damage. That can only occur once every 30 seconds, but still, that can mean a difference. He's already got incredibly low cooldowns and can lower them himself, so adding this on top of it is going to mean that he's got that up just like that. He's got those abilities back up like this, and so that is a really good option, and still will be a very, or Ansile, whatever it is going to be a very, I think, pocket pick for if you've got some mages that are really troubling you. The new passive on this is that people get silenced in a radius of 20 units around you for 1 second. It gives you the cooldown as well, the power and the magical protection. So if you're going to dive a mage backline who's giving you some trouble, you get there, she hits you with a burst ability, or she starts channeling an ability that's going to be damaging you or rooting you in place, you're able to go ahead and silence her and silence him or her, and then basically put yourself in a position to continue the onslaught and put anybody who was near you in a bad spot, because then everyone will be silenced. You know, it's essentially could have the effect of a chalk ultimate without doing the damage. So it can be very useful, but can be also like, well, there's better stats I could go for here. Health is a very important stat, and this is why I like Bulwark of Hope. Gives you the health, gives you the ground control reduction, so when you are diving the back line, you're going in with that turtle, knocking people up, you're less likely, if you do get poked, if you do get stunned, if you do get rooted, to stay locked in that root for too long, so you'll be able to get out and continue onto that target. You get the magic protection, but the health, again, you're taking 20% of your max health back after your ultimate basically goes into that phase where it returns your health. So if you have more health, that's going to increase the amount of health you get back on that ult, which is, again, very synergistic for him. Plus, he's going to take a shield when he gets below 30%, and what's great about that is if he has to use his ultimate in kind of a bad situation and he's very low, that shield will pop, and you'll have that extra shield buffer before his ultimate heals him back up again to survive any damage that he might be taking. So you have that 15% mitigation from his ultimate, and you'll have that shield from Bulwark of Hope. So that's why I like that item. Obviously not for everybody. You might have some different choices. Now this one is what you saw them using in the patch notes today. Stone Cutting Sword is going to give you physical power, it's going to give you movement speed, and it's going to increase your protections and lower the protections of your enemies. A teeter-totter item, one of those things that I talk about. We'll talk about that that a little bit in Smite University, but it's pretty much an item that gives you stats and takes away stats from your opponent. So it's not just buffing you and keeping them at an even playing field, it's really putting them down and bringing you up, and so it makes that huge discrepancy in terms of where you might have just been here, you now are here, and it's a really big deal. I know, I feel like I'm about to start dancing up in here, but so that's a really good item. Obviously, it doesn't proc with the dog, and so you may want to look at a couple of different things. One of the other options I've looked at is for a more offensive approach, because this has a defensive mechanic to it. You will lose some movement speed, but a couple of the crit items like Wind Demon, which will give you 40 power, 20% crit, and also increase your attack speed and movement speed by 20% when you do crit, has been an option. And also Rage, because of the fact that you are able to build up those stacks so quickly, you can almost guarantee yourself getting crits very, very efficiently, even more efficiently than almost any other character, because you've got that extra basic attack counting from your dog, building up those stacks. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if that's the intention, but it seems like that is going to be a strong vote for me in picking up Rage as my crit item, because I'm going to get a little bit more bang out of my buck, even though the passive of this is pretty nice, and attack speed and movement speed, you know, that sounds pretty nice as well. So a couple of those different options. If you want to go a little tankier, there are obviously some other choices you can do. Mantle of Discord is not bad. You'll get that extra cooldown. You'll have both protections. You'll have the ultimate, which the passive, which will help you there. And there's a couple of different ways to go, especially with Witchblade. If you have more of a physical defense problem, you have the Bulwark of Hope for any magical, but you're really getting focused by a physical damage dealer. One of the things you can do is buy Witchblade, even though it's not an item I would necessarily recommend. It's a pocket pick. It works on Osiris, and it may work on him. It'll give you the attack speed, the physical protection, and you'll lower the attack speed and the physical power of enemies in a radius of 55 units around you, which can be very, very helpful in certain scenarios. Again, it's more of a pocket pick. I'd say more of a Ansil type pocket pick in that. So right now I'll probably be sticking with something like, you know, Stone Cutting Sword for the extra movement speed, allow me to catch up to those targets, or going for, you know, obviously some crit. Now the other kind of utility item would be Wing Blade. You get the extra health, which is nice, bumps you up to about 2,600 health. You get, again, less crowd control reduction, so you have 40% crowd control reduction, which is great. You get some more attack speed, some movement speed, and when you're hit by a slow, you move faster. So that's not a bad item as well, not a bad pickup. Again, a little bit more utility-oriented if you feel comfortable with this damage right here. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this ability overview and build guide for Erlang Shen, and I will be doing these for pretty much all of the new gods that come out. I hope to take this guy out in the PTS soon, either in a joust or an arena or a conquest, and show you guys some cool stuff and do some dare me's with him in the future as well. So stay tuned to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, again, so you can stay tuned to any more content that I put out for this character. Let me know what you think about these types of videos. I hope you did enjoy them. You did enjoy the Fafnir one that I did, so I wanted to do this one for you guys as soon as I could. It's been a busy day for me at the office, and of course, if you guys want to grab the F7 shirts, the 50K, it's the hashtag F7 Squad, Never Give Up, Never Stop Gaming shirts. That is, I think, the last day tomorrow. June 30th is the last day to grab it, so if you do want to grab it, you can go to teechip.com/rainday50k, and you can check that out. It's I try to make it as cheap as possible so as many people can grab one. Again, I will not be doing this ever again. It'll be a new design. It'll be something different if I ever do a shirt. So this is the only time you'll have this shirt. So you can be one of the only few. So let me know if you guys want to do that. The link will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming. And I'll see you all next time.